his mama says they do. Can you imagine? Dear God, thank you that my mother doesn't have Twitter. And if she had it, can you imagine if after I had a string of bad shows, it was old Mama Wright on there? Like, I don't know what's wrong with Nick either. Maybe he needs more sleep. Takes have been whack lately. That's not the boy I raised. Oh, my God. Now, Draymond's mom likes to mix it up on Twitter. Years ago, she came after me on Twitter. She seems like a wonderful woman, a wonderful mother, and she raised a guy who is, play notwithstanding on the court, obviously a great son. But ooh, it's rough now. Days are rough in these streets when your mom's like, guys, quit adding me. I know my son's been awful. Maybe it's not actually him. When she plays the clone card, I think you might start to say, oh boy, do the Warriors have a Draymond Green problem? And the answer to that question is unequivocally yes, Broussard. You mocked me, said there will be no olive branches. I will tell you right now, if between this moment and the end of the show, if it comes to out that Steve Kerr has announced Draymond Green is not playing the rest of the series, I'm switching back to the Warriors. He's my silver bullet here, knowing that Draymond minutes are coming. He's been historically awful in 3 of the 4 games. And, well, historically awful in 2 of the 4, bad in game 4, and okay in game 2. He is shooting 20, his splits are, you know how we talk about Steph being a 50, 40, 90 guy? Draymond is a 23, 0, 50 guy this series. 23% from the field, 0% from 3, and I don't think a single one of them has even been online, and 50% from the free throw line. So yeah, they have a Draymond problem. He's playing 35 minutes a game. He's killing their spacing. He hasn't been good on defense aside from a couple moments. So yes, obviously, they have a Draymond problem, and I think it's going to cost them the title.
Okay, no, they do not have a Draymond Green problem. And here's why. Like, now, Nick, if you want to say, as you did, that he's not playing well, I'll give you that. Okay? He is not playing well, thanks. And they got to get him going. Okay? They got to get him going. I'll give you that. Or let me say he's not playing up to his normal standards. And they do need to get him going to try to, have a better chance at winning this series. But I do feel like this question is at least to a large degree about his attitude with the benching. Is that going to be a problem? His mom calling him out. Is that going to be a problem? Or him insisting on doing his podcast. Is that a problem that, we don't see the manifestation right now or it's hurting him on the court? Let's put it that way. And I would say the answer to those things is no. Okay, Draymond handled the benching like you should. He came out and said, look, I didn't want to be benched, of course. I'm a competitor. I wanted to play. And Steve Kerr, by the way, said he wants his players to feel that way when he takes them out of the game. But Draymond didn't pout. And when he got back in the game, he actually played well and made a couple plays. That's not just Kerr throwing, him an olive branch, if you will. That is true. He made some good defensive plays. He made a couple key assists at the end of the game. So he had the right attitude. All right. And Nick, here's the other thing. Okay, his offensive numbers, at least his scoring, looks bad. But have you seen his defensive numbers? Have you? What's the problem with the Celtics? Tatum and Jaylen Brown are struggling a bit. Why? I wonder why. Could it be Draymond Green? Look at that. They're shooting 30% against him. Why is Jason Tatum missing so many twos? Huh? Why is he missing so many twos? Huh? How you missing twos? Because Draymond is in his grill. Wiggins mainly, but when Draymond's on these guys too, he's holding them down. And show me the game stats for game 4. I know he only had 2 points, but look at the other numbers. 9 boards. 8 assists, 4 steals. And the 5 offensive rebounds was critical. They got destroyed on the glass in game 5. Or game 3. Game 3, particularly on the offensive glass. Look at what he does. And he had 3 offensive rebounds in the 4th quarter and a key one with about 1:14 left. Exactly 1:14 left. Gets an offensive rebound and it leads to this dime. He gets the offensive board. And then moments later, this is the Kevon Looney. It's an assist. Stop. Let's just call it an assist. I get it. Let's just call it an assist.
Sure, music behind that.
My point is, he is making contributions.
Where's the professor when you need him?
They don't have a Draymond Green problem. Other than that, you want to get him playing better. Like he's ruining, like he's hurting him. Yeah.
Okay.
You speak.
Look, I think you've got a little bit of Draymond. Hold on, are you fired up about something?
Through the looking glass.
You want me to go, Nick?
Go ahead, Wiles.
I'm going to give you.
Just go ahead. Sorry, I just can't believe it.
I'm going to give a solution. No, it's okay. It's all right. You got mesmerized by that dime, is what happened. Okay. I do obviously think that there is some issue with Draymond, or you wouldn't be benched in the fourth quarter. Obviously, right? At the same time, Draymond's attitude is very team-centric. In his podcast, which is doing great numbers, I've heard, he said, you know what? I want to win. So there is no really, any internal strife. The Warriors have great team culture. We get it. That being said, I think that Steve Kerr does need to get Draymond going a little bit. And if I was Steve Kerr, I would do these three things, or one of these threes, or you can take the trifecta. First thing I would do is hey, Draymond, You've gotten 2 points in the last 2 games. You had 2 points in game 4. You had 2 points in game 3. We're going to try to get you going on offense. So the first idea, we're going to run out of the break. Otto Porter Jr., if you get the ball, let's just throw it down court to Draymond, try to get him a dunk. He had a dunk in game 4. That's pretty good. Just try to get him on a fast break, get him going, watch the ball go through the hoop. Number 2, I'd run an out-of-bounds play for him. I know it's probably going to Steph. It's probably going to Andrew Wiggins. Maybe it goes to Clay. Run the play for Dre, have some sort of crazy action, get Dre a layup. And number 3, Nick, I don't know if this is good for you or bad for you. He's 0 for, I was looking up the stats. I'm like, well, that's silly. I had to look up the stats. It says 0%. He's 0 for 9 from 3. I know this sounds weird, but I think it's in his head now that he's even a worse shooter than he actually is. When Celtics fans are cheering.
This is the worst segment we've ever done.
Out of Steph's. No, I am taking the ball out. You got to get him going. You're going to need that at some point.
And give it
so you
to
might
Dre.
as well do
Get
it
him
early
going.
in the game. Run a three-pointer for Dre. A corner 3 for Dre.
Trying to run.
You have to. You're not going to shoot. He can't go 0 for 3 the entire series. It's Steve Kerr's responsibility to get him going.
Defense and rebounding. And some pass.
Stop it. Everybody stop for a second. But you do have used your allotment of lunacy for the segment. Everybody stop. Hubs, kill metals. We got to stay here and talk about this for a second, okay? First of all, Brew, you making the case that Draymond actually played well in a game where his own coach benched him, I've never seen it before. You're like, hey, look at Draymond's game 4.
Bitch,
maybe
did he
a little
not come
underrated.
back in?
Steve, he came back in and had that dime. That unbelievable dime
it was
that he
strategy.
had. But he got benched because he's been, yes, it was strategy because he's been terrible.
He wasn't out for the rest of the game.
Brew, you said he hasn't played up to his standards. I'm just curious, and I don't like answering my questions on the air, but think on this for a moment because then I have something for Wilds and see if you can come up with a name before the end of the segment. Whose standards has he played to? Draymond Green through 4 games this series, you'd be like, that's a good game, a good series for player X. What standards is it? Well, a guy who's shooting 23% from the field has, and I'm just curious, think of it. If you can come up with a name, I'm excited to hear it. Because I don't think
I'm not saying defensively he's played well. At least, and rebounding in game and passing in game 4, he was good. And 4 steals, too. So I'm not saying he's playing well offensively. That's why I don't agree with Wild's take to try to get him going. That's not his game. But to say he's a negative, to say they're better off without him, that's where you cross the line. That's where you cross the line.
Okay. They are unequivocally better off without him right now. And Brew, I was here with you for game 3 when we ran a compilation of Jaylen Brown cooking him, and you agreed with me. So the fact that he had 4 steals in game 4 does not erase the fact that he's been okay. All right.
Did you see my graphic, Dusty? Can you throw it back up?
Brew.
Did you see the graphic,
Brew,
Nick?
I don't know. We don't need to put the 11 of 30, I think is what it said. Those two guys, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum with Draymond Green guarding them. If you've watched these 4 games and you think Draymond Green has been a net positive, then the only thing crazier than that is Kevin Wildes going after you and saying, hey, let's run horns for Draymond. Let's run an ATO for Draymond. Get him a 3 in the corner.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.